Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info.
Good evening everybody and welcome to the Sim Experience IBF USA GT3 World Series Round 8, coming to you live from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada. Same venue as the Formula 1 race tonight, so for those that are missing the Formula 1 race to watch, thank you very much for joining. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell and joined once again by Sean Woodgate. Good evening, Sean. Alright, just so that everyone is aware, this is the 8th round of our 10-round championship, so we're nearing the end. Of course, this is Montreal in Canada, also known as the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, after the famous Canadian Formula 1 driver. Then we'll be heading over to Sebring in the United States, and then to Monza in Italy for the final round. Just to look at our point system. That is our point system. So first place for the sprint race you get 20 points, but first place for the feature race you get double points of 40 points. The sprint race points only go up to 15th place, and on the feature race the points go down to 20th place. There's also a point for pole position, and there's 1 point for fastest lap in both the sprint race and the feature race. So our professional league, we have, well, the professional drivers, sorry, we have Jason Underwood leading from Chris Collison and Gerrit Bierkes. Hopefully I've said that correct tonight. And in our veterans class, we have Maurice van Wyk leading from Andre Hildebrandt and Harvey Goos. And our overall point standings, we have Jason Underwood for Team Harder Racing on 322 points. We have Chris Collison, Team Harder Racing, 271 points. So Jason's pulled out a little bit of a lead now on Chris. And Gerrit Bierkes has now pulled up into third place for Team Full Throttle on 242 points, so having a very good latter half of the championship. Definitely catching up to the guys, so they'll have something to worry about. Jean de Toy in 4th place, Stanton has dropped down to 5th place, Adrian Nell 6th place, Sean Olivier 7th, Yandre Dupinor 8th, Timo dropping down to 9th, having not attended a few meetings. Julian Brains 10th place, Richard Celia 11th place, Sean Johnson 12th, Rian van der Veste is not joining tonight, so he will drop down again, but 13th place currently. Peter Geldenaes in 14th place, Dani Stander 15th place, Peter Murray in 16th place, Marius van Wyk in 17th place, Andre Besson in 18th place. I think some of the drivers are still in the pits at the moment, so we're just waiting for them to jump out on track while I show the team standings. Did you want to say something, Sean? Yeah, unfortunately, as you see, he's dropping down the table every round. He was up to 3rd place initially, and then he's slowly been falling down, and his team was up there as well. So currently Minions Racing has dropped down to 10th place in the Constructors, so team standing. So he's still in the top 10, but he will probably drop out of the top 10 after tonight. So possibly he'll join us for the next round, or fingers crossed he joins us for the next round. Alright, so I believe the drivers are now on track, so we're going to cross over to some live feed now. Not too sure exactly what the weather is going to be like. We can see there's a little bit of rain at the moment, so a little bit of drizzle by the looks of things. I think the drivers are still on slick tires at the moment, so it's not yet wet enough, so they're going to be rushing to get their laps in before it gets too wet. So of course this is the official practice. They have qualifying, that is. They have 15 minutes to do the qualifying. This is the Sim Experience IBFUSA GT3 World Series Round 8 qualifying from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada. Once again, I am your commentator, joined by Sean Woodgate again. Someone got that wrong, yeah. We see all sorts of things happening in the background while we've got our timings up here. I'm just going through all this so we can see who's where and what's where. Then we can get to some live feed. Right, as we see Sean Olivier heading out on a lap. I think we should perhaps go on board so we can get an idea of what the circuit is like for those of you that aren't up to scratch on the circuit thanks to Formula 1 at the moment. As we see Sean dealing with quite a wet track at the moment. The P and the R are both rain tires, so that's just what it shows on the live timing. But on our timing here, you can see everyone is running wets. The P and the R just depends. I think the Porsche runs what's the P and then or the R, and everyone else runs the P. But it is basically they're all wearing the rain tires. Apart from one driver who's on screen at the moment, he's a new driver with us, that's TJ Duvenacher. He's running a medium and a soft tire compound. He's mixing front and rear in different compounds, but he's the only driver on dry tires. Does seem to be struggling to keep the car on track though. Yoka getting very tail happy there, but what we can see from the onboard is that the rain has now stopped. Yeah, we see Peter Murray has also gone in early for a pit stop. He's about to start a flying lap on a brand new set of soft tires. I think the guys that are going to stay out on the wet tires are going to lose out heavily as the session unfolds, because we can see the track is definitely drying. It's drying very, very quickly. Very quickly. Oh, looks like he's pulled over. Chris Collison, yeah, about to start a flying lap. He's just finished a 24-hour race as part of one of the other teams who is not joining us tonight. That's the team, or Fach Auto Tech Racing team. Andre Dippenop, fastest in Sector 1 and a PB in Sector 2. Where will this lap put him? Let's see. This could be a good one. Andre up to second place there. Carrot? I'm not sure if this is correct. It's showing Carrot is still on the wet tires. He made a mistake there as well, and he straight away abandoned into the pits. He was on a good lap. He had the fastest first sector of anyone. Adria now flying, sorry to butt in, fastest first and second sectors. I think it's also track evolution. They are probably about 7 seconds off what they were doing in practice. They were doing 35, some of the guys into the 35s. So they are well off the pace, so perhaps the track is just evolving and gripping up as it's drying as well. Yes, I never even realized that. 41.5 for Adrian there. He still had the fastest middle sector, even with that little interruption. Second place. He obviously loves the changeable conditions. Harvey's on a personal best as well. We'll see this to the end, and then we can see what the Deeb is up to. Up to 12th place. That's a good improvement by Harvey. The Deeb, fastest overall in the first sector. Five seconds to go. It's going to be whoever crosses the line first or last, I should say, is going to have the biggest advantage. Adrianel fastest in the first sector at the moment as well. I think this is the most exciting qualifying we've had all season. Here comes the Deeb. Let's see where he's going to jump up to. Could be third or so, I guess. Oh. Up to fourth place, yeah. Adrian, is he going to take... Oh, he does. Provisional pole. Adrian now. But look at Chris. Sorry, Chris is coming. And that's pole position. All right, let's jump to an ad break. We'll be back with you shortly.
Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, Look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info.
Alright, welcome back everybody. This of course is the Sim Experience IBFUSA GT3 World Series Round 8, coming to you live from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada. This is the sprint race. It is a 6-lap sprint race. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell, joined again by Sean Woodgate. Good evening, Sean. I'll talk you through the qualifying results shortly because we have quite a few surprises. Unfortunately, we do have 3 drivers getting grid penalties, and one of them was Sean Ulufi, who had a fantastic qualifying, putting himself into 3rd place. We will get to that shortly as I just go through the current standings and results for the championship so far. Look at our professional series, our Veterans Cup. And then we can look at our overall standings. Oh, no, I'm not pulling away on the grid. Alright, we can have a look at our starting order in a moment. Alright, in pole position, Chris Collison. In 2nd place, Adrianel. 3rd place, Adib Camildian. 4th place, Jean-Andre de Toy. In 5th place, Julian Brains. In 6th place, Peter Geldenes. 7th place, Jean-Andre Dupinard. 8th place, Sean Olivier. In 9th place, Gerrit Bierkes. In 10th place, Andre Besson. 11th place, Peter Murray. 12th place, Antonio de Lima. In 13th place, Dani Stander. In 14th place, Dinesh Singh. In 15th place, Maurice van Wyk. In 16th place, Wayne Kruger. 17th place, Harvey Goes. 18th place, Hilke Vereniger. 19th place, Donovan Tremark. 20th place, that is Wessel Viljoen. 21st place, Rudy van der Westhuizen. 22nd place, Stan Bezuidenhout. 23rd place, TJ Juvenager. And in 24th place, joining at the last minute, Jason Underwood. Let's see how far he can progress. Starting from the back of the field, let's see how far he gets in the sprint race, and then where he finishes. That should be quite an exciting drive to watch him coming through the field. Yes. We'll keep an eye on the tyres of the drivers on as they hit to the line. Yep, best car going in. Drivers do have an agreement to get through turn 1 before and turn 2 before they get going. So we'll see if everyone stays in formation. Hopefully they do. Now it's all go, yes. We see a penalty for Stan Bezuidenhout, so I'm not sure what happened at the back, but something definitely happened to Stan. Deep seems to be giving Chris a real hard time at the moment. Only 6 tenths back. Julian Brains with Andre Dippenaar, yeah? Oh, got a contact there. Yeah, it's a slight tap to the rear at the wrong time, and that's unfortunately spun Andre around. Andre Dippenaar down to 21st place after that's going to just, of course, in a very, very tight chicane. It would be very difficult to come back onto the track safely. So he's lost his rear wing. It looks like he's been collected by someone. I think it was Harvey being collected by Hilke. Hilke took avoiding action from Maris and got on the grass, which is probably still a bit damp, and that was it. He was just a skittle. Or the bowling ball. Battle of the Mercedes here. Donnie Stander and Wayne Kruger. No, this is D Nash. Not much spray coming off, so it looks like the track is drying properly. I don't know, there's some debate on that, because if you do greet it, you're likely to become a champion. Maybe there's a part of you that wants to greet it. We on lap 4. Getting very, very close on the brakes there. Yeah, cost him quite dearly. If he had got close enough, he might have had a chance, but I think he's maybe, with the time remaining, a lap and a half to go, or almost 2 laps. That might have cost him. That'll be for second. I noticed Chris was getting a bit loose. This is, of course, the last lap. Don't think he's going to have the grip to catch Jando. Jando seems to be getting faster as the race progresses. He maybe started a bit more casual. Chris sort of started a bit more aggressively. And maybe the tyres have just gone off for Chris. Oh, as I say that, Jando runs onto the grass. Yeah. Just looking at some of the other drivers, of course, Julian having a good race in 6th place, and his teammate up in 4th place, Adib. So good points for them. Oh, and as I said, Adrian has just crossed the line to take the win. Jean-Ray de Toy, yeah, and the fastest lap. Jean-Ray second, Chris third, Deeb just gets fourth from Garrett. Julian holding off back behind him, and the pack behind him is where the real battle is at the moment. Look at this battle going on back here. Sean holding off Antonio, who just held off Andre Basson. All the drivers slowly coming across the line. Jason eventually finishing in 5th place, so he will get one solitary point. Oh, well, he might pitch second. Right up behind Peter Mireda, but no, just gets 1 point. And Yonder Dip are about to come across the line before we head off to an ad break, but he's finished the race without his rear wing. So hats off to him for continuing and being able to actually keep the car on the road without a rear wing. Alright, we'll be back after the ad break. We're going to set the grid for race 2 for the feature race. That should be quite an exciting race, and we are expecting a bit of rain, so we'll be back shortly.
Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, Look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world.
Alright, welcome back everybody. We are live once again for the feature race. This is the Sim Experience IBFUSA GT3 World Series Round 8. The feature race, Race 2. From Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada, I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell. I'm joined once again by Sean Woodgate. Hopefully we have sound with Sean. If there's any issues, if everyone could let me know. But Sean, good evening once again.
sprint race was anything to go by, then we certainly are in for a great feature race.
The sound is now working. I did see an issue spotted there.
And so there is a 30-second delay from the live which we see, which we commentate on, to that which goes out on the stream. So let's hope that they do respond and that they can hear me now.
Yep, hopefully we'll get some positive notes in a moment. I'm just going to quickly go through our standings that we have here, so we can get to the grid. Sorry if I'm just going through this fairly quickly. I'm not too sure that, not too sure what the pace is going to be like on this lap, and it is not such a long lap, so it can't take too long. But if you guys would like, you could always just pause, perhaps in between hitting the like and subscribe button. Alright, and now we can have a look at the standings any moment now. I'll get that ready for us, get that on screen. Right, so starting in first place we have Adrian Nell, in second place Jean-Ray du Toit, third place Chris Collison, and in fourth place Deeb Gamildian. In fifth place Gerrit Bierkes, in sixth place Julian Brains, seventh place Sean Olivier, eighth place Antonio de Lima. In ninth place Andre Besson, in 10th place Peter Geldenes, in 11th place Dani Stander, in 12th place Wayne Kruger. In 13th place Dinesh Singh, in 14th place Peter Murray, in 15th place Jason Underwood, in 16th place Donovan Vermaak. In 17th place Harvey Goos, in 18th place Rudy van der Westhuizen, 19th place Marius van Wyk, and 20th place Hilke Verenigde. 21st place Stan Bezuidenhout, 22nd place TJ Juvenage, 23rd place Jandre Dippenaar, and in 24th place Wessel Viljoen. I believe we should have 25th place will be our final place. No, I think Wessel is actually the last. That is it. Right, so the drivers will now slowly hold position. They should keep position once again up until turn 2. Oh, contact in the background. For some reason, guys not able to avoid each other on the slow down.
Hopefully that car is not too damaged and can still make the start.
It is a long race, so it's worth carrying on and maybe going for a pit stop when the weather changes.
Now out of turn 2, and it'll be put foot and away they go.
Right, off they go. So we are racing.
And it's not much of a straight, because then you have turns 3 and 4, which is also a semi-chicane that sorts out the men from the boys as well. And at this stage it looks as though, I'm just trying to find him, car number 40 Julian Brains had quite a good start as well. But Chris Collison in third position, well, in these dry conditions, he's certainly going to make his voice known as Jean-Ray du Toit in the 737 BMW. He seems to just hold contact with Adrian Nell. Adrian Nell, he got a demon start and also was on a compound of tyre that we didn't really notice in the sprint race, and he just went away and built up such a big lead that nobody bothered, I think, even to try and chase him. Julian trying very hard to catch Tony de Lima there as they get into the hairpin, a bit fast in and out of that corner. And I think that was the flying bumblebee of Gerrit Bierkes.
That's what you call threading the needle.
Yes, and luckily everybody saw him coming and saw him go, and he didn't cause any damage.
I actually think that was Antonio, not Gerrit. Gerrit is further up the road.
Okay, they have similar livery or colour scheming. That's definitely behind Julian. That's Andre Besson behind Julian. I think that one, I might be wrong with Julian as well. But certainly, yeah, that's Tony de Lima. You're quite correct. So also the black and yellow. Just turns.
Is Collison giving Jean-Ray du Toit a hard time still?
Yeah. What that does mean is that with Chris harassing Jean-Ray, Adrian is off by 1.5 seconds already. So certainly he can race his race in isolation. He doesn't have to worry about anybody behind him.
And he's currently on the hard tyres. He was on the harder compound that was available to everyone in the last race. He was on medium, everyone else was on soft. Now he's on the hard. Jean behind is on the hard. Then we've got two guys on the mediums, and then Sean Olivier on the hard. So getting a bit of a mix of tyres here, which is quite good to see.
Certainly, I think it was Sean Olivier that was so well qualified, I think in third for the sprint race, and then he was still carrying a penalty from previous race, and that put him down to 8th, but certainly he's back up to 5th already, and he had a good race as well. So certainly it'll be worth watching to see Sean Olivier how he is going to do. He finished in 7th position in the sprint race after qualifying well, but then being pushed down into 8th position.
Rudy van der Veste is into the pits after that collision, so maybe he had some damage. He seems to have exited the pits now, so hopefully all is well. I'm getting very loose there. Oh, that was close to the wall. Oh, and that was contact with the wall.
Yeah, that's the wall of champions. That's the one that you don't want to be in touch with, as we've said before. But certainly things happen. I said before, I think in a Formula One car, that's what you don't want to be doing. But in these cars, you might just get away with it. The Helix car of Pieter Geldenhuys looking very nice there in the SRC Motorsport. Now, Pieter Geldenhuys is in 9th, Julian Brains is behind him, car number 40 in 10th, and Jason Underwood, who started last in the sprint race, is in 11th. I think he finished 15th in the sprint race. He's up to 11th already, and putting up good lap times. I think the last lap wasn't as good as what he would like it to be, but certainly he's going to be trying to do better and get past the cars in front of him.
There he goes. I think he was involved in an incident in the first race. There was, I think, a contact between two drivers in front, and he had nowhere to go because it looked like the front of the car was a bit crumpled. So he's being a bit cautious coming through, but he's got a long race. I'm sure he'll get up to the front. Well, he'll certainly get into the top 5 with the pace he's got.
Certainly going very, very well. And I just want to have a look quickly. D Nash runs the Ferrari. I'm just looking behind Chris Collison and further back behind Jason Underwood, his teammate. We don't mention the Ferrari often because in the white with the blue stripes, it certainly does look very nice, although it's uncharacteristic Ferrari colors. Of course, Ferrari is very, very proud of coming back to Le Mans and winning it. There goes Javi Goos, number 13, unlucky for some, but Javi has stuck it out with that number 13, and certainly have a quick look. He's actually had, by his own standards, he's actually had quite a good evening. Javi Goos qualified 17th, and in the sprint race he finished 17th. So running exactly where he had started the race. So that'll be good for him. And at the moment, Javi is in 16th, so he's actually made up a position from where he started the race. But that'll be, might be because of the one car that went into the pits for repairs.
Not sure what time exactly the weather's going to come, but we were expecting it to rain in roughly mid-race. Not too sure for how long. We'll just have to see what the drivers decide to do tyre-wise. We could have different tyre strategies where drivers might decide to chance it and stay out waiting for it to finish. There'll be some that maybe chance it and pit early expecting it to rain harder. So we'll see what happens. But looking at the tyre choices and the colours, we currently have not yet seen the wet weather tyre in the series. It will be a blue tyre. We've always seen the yellow, the red often in qualifying, the yellow mostly in the race and the white mostly in the race, but we might see the blue later on. So that will be an indication of when the guys have pitted for tyres, and certainly wet tyres.
Now, the quickest lap at the moment is the race leader Adrian Nel, and that makes quite a lot of sense. He's on the hard though, which is interesting because Adrian runs car number 15, and that is a Porsche, the Midnight Code Porsche, and that's very quick. Gerrit Beekes, car number 3, runs Team Full Throttle, another one of the BMWs. But in between all of that is Chris Collison, who runs an Aston Martin. Now, Chris Collison is car number 22, and the Team Harder Racing car, they're leading the team championship, but his teammate is fighting back from Jason Underwood up into 9th position already. As you said, he might have been involved in something, but his last lap were 1:38.8, and ahead of him Andre Besson 1:39.5. So he's only got a second that he's behind Andre, so one could expect that he's going to be catching Andre pretty quickly. Andre runs car number 33, and that car is certainly flying along in front of him, but he'll have to be doing some defending at some stage.
So Garrett hanging in there, watching Chris closely. Going beautifully over the curbs, taking just enough curb to not get into trouble, but enough to keep the fastest lines. But somehow Chris is just edging away from him at the moment.
Yeah. So Chris Gillison holds that position through the hairpin, and then they're going to run the curve to the left. They actually don't give that curve to the left a number as a corner number, but then further down the road, this bit there that they've just gone through, that curve slightly to the right, that's actually turn 11, although in my mind the drivers probably don't get off the throttle there at all, and where they're going through now is turns 12 and 13, which is the chicane, which puts in the last straight bit before they come past to complete the lap.
That was the fastest lap of the race by Adrian Nel, a 1:37.533.
There you can see the gap between him and Jean-Ray Dutoy, and between turns 1 and 2. There's Adrian just exiting into turn 3, and Jean-Ray chasing hard. The last lap time's a 37.5 for Adrian and a 37.8 for Jean-Ray. So Jean-Ray in the lime green and black car. There's Adrian just in front of us right now. He's in that orange shade. You see the, if I can get my brain and my tongue into the same gear, the discs glowing red as they're hard on the brakes through turns. I think that was turn 6. It's actually a hairpin left, and then they go that long arcing right, and then it'll be turns 8 and 9, and then the road arcs to the left again. So certainly all to race for. And at the end of this, after the Rolex bridge, then they come to the hairpin. There's Adrian and there's Jean-Ray. And behind them, Chris. Chris is not really getting away from Gerrit Beekes. Aston Martin of Chris, and Gerrit Beekes runs the BMW. So Gerrit is giving him, I wouldn't say a hard time, but that team full throttle BMW is worth reckoning, and you certainly cannot relax for an instant.
So looking at the lap times at the moment, we have a 37.5 last lap for Adrian Nel, a 37.8 for Jean-Ray Dutoy, a 38.5 for Chris Collison, a 38.6 for Gerrit, a 39.1 for Sean, a 38.8 for Adib, so Adib actually catching Sean there, and a 40.0 for Andre Besson, a 39.8 for Antonio, a 39.8 for Jason. So lap times all very close. Dean Ash on the 39.8 as well.
So all at or about the 1 minute 40s or slightly less. The quicker cars, in fact, quite a bit less. If you consider that Adrian is in the 137s, that means he's about 2.5 seconds quicker than the cars that are only 5 or 6 grid positions behind him. Jason that they're focusing on now, Jason's up into 9th, and he's only half a second behind Tony De Lima. So there he is, Tony De Lima, that I mistook for the flying bumblebee of Gerrit Beekes. There's a nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more, as they get into that chicane next to each other. Go flying along. Certainly in an endurance race like this, you don't want to be in any battle. There's the Helix car of Pieter Geldenhuys, also one that's very easy to spot. So Jason Underwood, where is he up to now? Still running in 9th position. And Pieter Geldenhuys behind him. So it's Pieter Geldenhuys, Jason Underwood, and ahead of them, Tony De Lima.
Right, so we're driving on board with Pieter Geldenhuys at the moment. He's got the best view in the house of the battle ahead.
I thought for an instant there that Tony De Lima had drifted a bit wide, but he came back to block. But certainly this straight is so long, and whether the Aston has the legs, Tony holds the inside line, which is of course the right thing to do because the chicane goes to the right. So if he's got the inside line, then he puts the Aston Martin on the outside of the corner, which is exactly what he did. So good racecraft there. Although he might be a fraction closer, the car is better, and he's doing the same again for turn 1, which goes left. He's going to have the racing line to the left, and once again the Aston Martin will have to follow him through the corners. It'll be a different story when they go down the back straight, because then there are 2 sections that you've got to think a corner in advance, because it goes right left in turns 8 and 9, and also turns 6 and 7 is a left-right chicane. So certainly quite a few places that you can pass, but you've got to be placed correctly on the circuit. There's just the racing line. Oh, it looks as though he had to actually bleed off there, did Jason, because he had a better entry speed into the corner, so he could get out of it. He went in fairly quick and got out, I think, fairly quick as well. Now we'll have to wait and see. No, again, with the chicane coming up, he is certainly pushing very hard, and Tony making a mistake here and there. I think Tony used a little bit too much curb, more than what he would have preferred. Is he going to make a lunge? Yes, he does.
Nicely done.
Right down for the hairpin, and then positions the car to prevent Tony from coming back at him.
Right, you'll, I'm sure, clear off now.
It's all right. Peter Geldenhuys is still behind them in the Helix coloured livery car. That's the SRC Motorsport car, and he's still got a great view. I think that's a mistake. Oh,
missing the chicane there.
yes, completely. And they've got, I'm not sure whether it's in use in this class as well, but they've got a banner there that if you miss the chicane, you've got to actually stay to the left and go between the wall and that banner, and then only rejoin. So you can't be deemed to gain an advantage. And in all of that, the Helix car of Peter Geldenhuys has made that one position with that mistake by Tony de Lima.
They don't have that barrier, but they do have the aid of the computer, which sees if you've gained an advantage and will penalize you. So it looks like he rolled off there, which is why Peter's got past. And he hasn't got a penalty, so I think he did it just enough to avoid any issues.
Yeah, so that's the right way to do it. Just have a quick look how far we're in. 1/4 of this race already run. 15 minutes done and dusted.
Guess we need to keep an eye on the weather as well. At some point we should see the weather changing. It's quite sunny at the moment, a little bit of sun breaking through the cloud.
Yeah, we can see the trees casting a shadow across the track. So nice sunshine. If you look at that hairpin there, that TV, that's a massive television display that they have up there. You can see the shadow of that quite clearly, so it's nice and crisp at the moment. A bit of blue cloud above, but it's a very fickle area, and the weather can and often does change in a very short space of time. And of course, this is a race over 1 hour, so a lot that can still happen.
Right, here comes Jason and Andre Besson. Let's see how quick he can dispatch of Andre.
He's got to catch him first, and we know that there's 2 sets of chicanes, turns 1 and 2, then again 3 and 4, and he's got to make it happen between turns 2 and 3. Otherwise, my thinking is he'll have to wait till after turn 7, because the risk is just too high.
And there's some traffic ahead as well. I think that's TJ that they're catching up to. Looks like it.
TJ is new to the racing, so he runs a BMW M4 GT3 number 4, and we haven't seen him previously, so nice to have him here. Welcome, TJ. And he is just behind Stan Besaidnout. So Stan had a penalty in, was it in this race or in the sprint race at the start? So
that was Dinesh, not Stan, that was Dinesh.
Oh, that was Dinesh, yeah. So I think, is this where the Aston is going to make it work again?
He's fast.
He just has that car so balanced under braking for the hairpin, as one of the cars runs wide out of the hairpin there. But well made and well passed there. So Jason up into 7th position now, ahead of Andre Besson. And Andre Besson running the George Fitment Center car, the GeForce Fitment Center car, number 33.
We've had 2 DNF as well, which I never noticed until now, so apologies. But Julian Brains had a DNF as well as Vessel Pillion. I was looking for Julian, wondering where he was, because he was further up the grid. I think he started in 6th place. And I see Adib is still there. Adib had gone back on in his starting position, but Adib currently 6th at the moment. I think he started in 4th place.
If you look at the qualifying, Julian Brains qualified very well in 6th. And then in the sprint race, Julian finished 6th. So, a nightmare feature race for him. So, but he'll probably come and tell us about it.
Nice battle going on here with the three drivers here.
That's the Ferrari that I mentioned that has the blue stripes. And if you didn't know better, then you'd think it's a Ford GT40. But it certainly is the Ferrari. There's somebody that misses that corner completely.
And that was DJ again, obviously getting the hang of everything.
Yeah, so the Ferrari has Jandre Dippenaar behind him from PZN Panel Beaters. And that's car number 9. It's the BMW chasing the Ferrari. And let's try and have a look who is ahead of them. So certainly a nice battle evolving there as well. What position they're fighting for? It's Jandre, Dinesh and Donnie Stander ahead of them. Now Donnie Stander is car number 243 and he runs a Mercedes of the GDR racing team. He's teammate to Javi Gous.
Good battle here between the 3 drivers. A battle for 11th place. Of course, Jandre having had a terrible first race, working his way back up through the field.
There's the curb, and they used, by the looks of it, just the right amount of curb. But certainly things are very, very close now, and we'll have to wait and see whether Dinesh is going to be able to hold on. I think turn 1 is going to save his butt, because and he runs it wide out of turn 1, and he has to give the, well, he doesn't have to, but he just got it onto the grass, and you've got no acceleration off the grass, so he loses that position to Jandre Dippenaar, and Jandre is right onto Donnie Stander immediately.
Fantastic looking Mercedes of Donnie Stander.
Yeah. The bonnet livery is even more spectacular if you look from a driver's perspective. That car really does look nice. All the Mercedes logos there, you see it. The honeycomb structure on the bonnet. And he's trying his best, car number 243, Donnie Stander, to stay ahead. But it's a battle with Jandre Dippenaar right there with him. Jandre managed to get past the Ferrari of Dinesh Singh, I think mainly due to the mistake made by Dinesh. But that's it, you've got to be in it to win it, so you've got to be there to catch it, and I think that was what happened in the last race meeting, that with a lap or 2 to go, there was a mistake made by one of the drivers, and where we thought everything was done and dusted, all of a sudden there was a massive change for 2nd and 3rd positions, or 2nd, 3rd and 4th had a change up.
Right, so half a second between Donnie Stander and Jandre. Jandre in the slipstream now. Let's see how he catches under the brakes.
Now that chicane that they're heading to, you've got to be well positioned long before you get to the chicane to actually block the guy from turning into the chicane. And the Ferrari using a lot more of the track than the other 2 cars, getting close to the Quebec wall, otherwise known as the Wall of Champions. Turns 1 and 2, very difficult section of the circuit. This is the hairpin that I think they're going through now.
The weather's starting to look a little bit more gloomy.
Yeah, certainly a lot more clouds. Still a bit of blue sky about, but a lot more clouds, definitely.
And they're getting it very, very loose as well over the curbs. Taking a little bit too much, maybe. Donnie doing very well to hold off. I would imagine the very stressful thought of having Jandre behind him.
Here's the portion of the circuit at the back that arcs to the right, goes through under the bridge, then you'll have a chicane, right, left, and then there's another bit of the circuit that arcs to the left before they get to the hairpin. See, so it's not actually a straight, but I think as far as these cars go, the downforce and the grip is such that they just keep the foot flat down. And certainly the Mercedes getting in and out of that hairpin much better, Donnie Stander, than Jandre Dippenaar. Or it appeared that way from what I could see. The Mercedes just got onto the brakes, held the line, and got out quite quickly. And Donny Stander is trying his best. Andre Dippenaar is trying his best to catch up to Donny Stander. Those three have been at it for quite a while now.
I wonder if the torque of the Mercedes is helping him in any way, because I'm pretty sure that car does have a lot more torque.
Quite possible. But at this stage, they seem to be holding position. I've just got to actually find what the gap is. It's 0.4 of a second. We can keep an eye on it, although I think Mercedes got a bad exit out of turn 2 there. And it looks as though Andre is a bit closer now. In fact, he is. It's 0.3 of a second. So with these sets of chicanes that are coming up now, and then the very sharp one of those is turn 6, that actually has a grandstand on the inside of the circuit. The corner turns to the left and the grandstand is on the right hand side, and then they go down the back straight. So here's also a question of positioning the car well, using the slipstream, and see if you can get closer. But it looks as though that Mercedes just gets the torque going. As again the chicane turn 8 and 9, and then they'll be coming up. Well, it'll gradually turn away to the left under the Rolex bridge, and shortly thereafter they'll be at the hairpin again.
Donny taking very good lines where he's not completely defensive, not completely aggressive, but spot on where he needs to be, which makes it very difficult for Andre to get past.
In this case, for instance, the right hand side of the road, I think he's actually got Andre far enough behind that he can go to the left, because Andre is not anywhere near challenging for the chicane. Even under braking, there doesn't seem to be the... Donny makes a mistake. As I say that, I mustn't speak about the guys, really. Donny made a mistake, and Andre had to actually come right off the throttle. I think he probably had to get on the brakes to avoid really hitting him hard. But I think there was just too much curb used by the Mercedes driver, and Donny lives to fight another. That has meant, of course, that the Ferrari is right there as well. So Dinesh Singh, with all the fun of the fair happening ahead of him, he's right there to fight with them again.
Yeah, having a good race as well.
Yes, so Dinesh is in 13th, so he's in the points. Just have a look, where's Jason got to? Jason, while we've been watching this, is up into 7th position. He's 3.6 seconds behind Adib Khamildin. So certainly a long way back, 3.6 seconds, but change of weather, change of tires. The big gap is between Sean Olivier and Gerrit Dekes. Sean is in 5th, but he's 11.3 seconds behind Gerrit Dekes in 4th. So the gaps seem to be, there's no challenge except for Adib on Sean Olivier at the moment. That's 0.8 of a second that Adib. Let's look at the last lap times. A 39.43 by Adib and a 39.40 by Sean. So they seem to be holding station.
Ooh, with a side by side.
And Andre still at it.
Great stuff.
But see, they were next to each other, and then down the front straight, which is the casino straight, it just, as you said quite rightly, maybe the torque of the Mercedes is just such, or the engine characteristic is just such that he gets on the throttle and gets accelerated quicker.
I think the Mercedes is also a heavier car, but it does have a very big motor. It does seem to help with the faster tracks. And I think Monza, it's going to be a good car to be in.
Yeah, once it probably takes a bit of slowing down in the corner, which gives the BMW a chance, but once it gets onto the throttle, then it just seems to pull away again. So Andre is trying his best, and I'm glad for Andre that he's actually made up.
Ooh.
He's onto the brakes. I'm not sure whether he got the corner wrong, and that's that battle run. I think the Ferrari's also probably gone past. So Dinesh is now behind Donny by 2 seconds. Andre manages to stay ahead of Pieter Marais purely because Pieter Marais was so far back. So that's Dinesh in Donny Stander in 11th, Dinesh in 12th, Andre down into 13th now, and Pieter Marais still in 14th, but not as far behind, but running slower lap times than Andre Dippenaar. Difficult to see because we were in car, whether it was the fact that he had to slow down to avoid hitting Donny, or whether he'd actually made a mistake. So very challenging decision there. Sean Olivier with Adib Khamildin pushing hard. The Porsche is really, really trying. And Sean Willifee, number 137, the BMW Thorax Racing. He certainly is holding on for dear life.
Deep's coming.
Yeah, he's certainly not giving it up at all.
But Sean's on the hard tires, the Deeb's on the mediums, yet the mediums seem to be working for the Porsches.
That's something that the Fach Autotech eSport racing team showed, is that they were not that heavy on tires. They could run quite a longer distance with a softer compound of tire. So I think it's determined by driving style. So,
yeah, Adrian Nell's in the lead on a Porsche, but he's on the hards.
Yeah, so I'm just going to push this up with the DNFs. That gives me a little bit of space that I can actually see almost all the competitors and how much time we've run. Just as a matter of interest, 32, just over 32 minutes still to go.
Alright, and still no rain. Not sure if the rain is still coming. Was forecast.
At the moment, it's showing 0% wetness and 0% of rain. The ambient temperature is 22. The track temperature is 40. So that says that it's quite warm still, because track is always being black. It heats up a lot more than what the air does, or the ambient temperature does. But certainly things can still change with more than half an hour to go. There, as you look out now, there's virtually no blue sky in that direction anymore. So certainly it has changed there. And this is the front straight as they get to the finish line before they arc slightly to the right and then sharp left into turn one.
Bonnet does look like it's got a bit of moisture on it, but it's not rain.
Yeah. Adrian Nell, just as a matter of interest, 4.3 seconds ahead of Jean-Ray Dutoy, the flying 737 Boeing Brigade, and Chris Collison in third. Chris is 7+ seconds behind Jean-Ray. Gerrit Beerkes, the flying Bumblebee, he's 1.4 seconds behind Chris, and Sean Willifee 11.8 seconds behind Gerrit. So that's down to fourth position. And Jason, very creditable if you consider how his day started, running in 7th and only 1.6 seconds behind Adib at the moment.
Well, Jason is catching Adib and Gerrit is catching Chris. So those are, I think, two battles that we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, very interesting. And although they're more than a second, they're doable. We've seen things happen in these races that, is that the Ferrari that runs an extremely wide line actually gets a slingshot out, but I'm not sure that the system will like that too much for him.
I think he's being lapped, so he shouldn't fight too much.
So he stayed out of the way.
Let's go and look at Jason. The windscreen wiper is not running yet, so there's no rain yet. It does look like it's darkening though.
Yes, certainly a lot darker than, and with half an hour to go. There's the Wall of Champions that certainly Jason doesn't want to touch. But he's got Adib in his sights, and we've said it all along. If you can actually see your competitor, then you certainly have a motivation to catch him. There's the Ferrari. Is that the Ferrari that's trying to stay right out of the way?
That's Stan Bezuidenhout.
Stan Bezuidenhout.
Right, Jason getting past quite nicely. Thank you, Stan, for being so courteous.
Yeah, he's running his own race and certainly doesn't want to interfere with them. Stan runs the IBFUSA Ferrari, number 36. He's the series sponsor. So here comes the relentless number 11, Jason Underwood on Adib, number 119. The gap is 1.6 seconds. So still the Aston Martin chases relentlessly on. And let's see if he's going to make any effect on that Porsche of Adib, High Revolution Racing. Hilke Verenga, car number 60. Haven't seen Hilke for a while. He one of the veterans in the Allen Racing Porsche. So
he had a personal best in the middle sector on this lap.
Now the car's getting lighter, so that makes a bit of sense that it's probably getting a little bit faster as well. Just by comparison, his last lap of 146 versus Adrian 137.8. So it gives you an idea how quick the guys are at the top of the leaderboard versus the guys that are running at the bottom.
So Gerrit is 1.2 behind Chris at the moment. Jason is 1.1 behind Adib.
Yeah. So this is scrunching up very nicely. Let's have a look at the last lap. Sean Olivier did a 1:38.6. Adib did a 1:39.4. No time given for Jason for some reason. But nonetheless, the gap between Jason and Adib is now less than a second. By 0.003 of a second, but nonetheless, less than a second.
Yeah, it's fluctuating. There it goes under, depending on the part of the track.
Yeah. That's a great grandstand position they have there, turn 6 and 7, that they have a view of out of there. So, and you can see it's quite well packed, so it's a popular place to be as they get to the chicane, turn 8 and 9.
There they come. And they're not too far back from Sean, 2 seconds back from Sean.
Yeah, Adib is 2.1 seconds. And yeah, that happen in French is le épingle. I don't know how you pronounce it. That's the way that it's written. Probably pronounced totally different to the way that I've said it. This battle is warming up quite nicely, and back markers coming into play. And in the bits of the track where you don't want them, in that hairpin that I just mentioned and probably broke completely in French, that's going to be the Wall of Champions that they pass now. So down the straight, and the back marker sticks to the left. Well done, sir.
And that was Hilke, so very good, Hilke, thank you.
And Hilke's running his own race, and he is 22, just over 22 seconds behind Harvey. Oh, there's a nudge. What happened there?
Adib was getting a bit sideways. It wasn't really Jason's fault. He had nowhere to go. Adib was losing it and obviously scrubbed off enough speed and just got a slight tap.
Yeah. Yeah, and that of course will mean that Adib will drop down behind Jason. And all of a sudden, where it was so close, now Adib is behind Andre Besson as well, although he'll probably catch Andre Besson pretty quickly. It's less than, once it settles, it's about a second that Adib is behind Andre Besson. So, yeah, mistake made there. Javi Gous hangs out wide. He knows the race leaders are coming. He'll stay wide, which is the racing line, actually. He actually goes a little bit more than wide onto the left and allows the race leaders or the guys competing for the positions to get past him. Harvey's running in 17th position, a lap down. But he's still out there on circuit. Lights flashing at him. Is he going to go right? He's going to hold the racing line and then drift out wide. It's the Wall of Champions. You can't really make a mistake there. Harvey sticks left.
Nicely done.
Yeah. Yeah, the chicane, to stay out of the way at turn 12 and 13 is probably very, very difficult for a back marker, because you're going to change direction twice regardless of what you do. And probably the worst thing you could be expected to do is to slow down, because then the guy at race pace is going to be getting at you so quickly that it might upset his balance completely as well. So it's just the wrong place to meet up with the back marker generally, is that chicane turn 12 and 13.
So the battles to focus on at the moment are Chris and Gerrit and Sean and Jason. So that's the battle for third and the battle for fifth.
Yeah, Jason has 3.2 seconds to catch up on Sean, so that'll take a while. If we look at the last laps, it's about 1.2 seconds per lap that Jason is quicker than Sean, so we could expect him in the next 2 or 3 laps to be right there with Sean.
Actually, the last lap, it was the other way. Jason was the slower.
I'm right, I'm reading it the wrong way around. Thanks, Dennis. Sean had a 38.9 and Jason had a 40. So certainly it looks as though Sean has got the wake up, or maybe it was just because of the traffic. We'll have to wait and see how that evens out. In the sector times they're running now, certainly Jason is per sector quicker by about half a second quicker than Sean. So maybe just after settling the car after that last incident.
You see Sean going into the final chicane. Just past the Wall of Champions.
23 plus a few seconds to go in this race, 23 minutes. And Adrian now on the hard compound is 7.5 seconds ahead of Jean-Ray Detroit, also on the hards. Surprising, Chris Collison is on the medium, as is Gerrit Beekes. Chris is 7.5 seconds adrift of Jean-Ray, and Gerrit Beekes is right up there with Chris Collison. And Gerrit is on mediums, as is Chris Collison. So yeah, it's driver versus driver or car versus car, because Gerrit Beekes runs the number 3 BMW, and of course Chris Collison runs the Aston Martin. A 0.9 of a second is not much.
No.
Beekes he's got him in his sights, but whether he can catch him, that's another thing.
Alright, let's see if we can get a different view on this, because this is getting very, very close.
Oh, that hairpin certainly is if you consider the speed they come into the hairpin, and not sure what the G-forces are, but you're certainly going to be hard on the brakes to slow the car down for the hairpin. And then you've got to get through it with a nice racing line. There's the chicane, the Wall of Champions. You've got to get onto that straight with a good exit speed to make sure that you stay ahead of the guy behind you. Turn 1, very sharp. And there you can see how that sort of ebb and flow. You catch up, and then the other guy gets on the throttle, and you lose the distance, and you become small in his rearview mirror again. But certainly, you're not going to give up the fight, and Gerrit Beekes is going to stay at Chris Collison. The last laps were a 38.39 for Gerrit and a 38.5 for Chris Collison. So very, very close, within 0.2 of a second, that these guys have a difference in one whole lap.
Not sure where the rain is. The rain seems to be staying away. It was forecast.
Well, which is good. It might be late in the race, and that's going to be interesting, to say the least, because if you've got to do a tyre change and you've got to do that change with very little time, then the factor sticks in your head, and you say, do we stay with what we've got and risk it, or do we take the safe alternative and go for a change of tyre? Maybe even the soft compound can come to play if the rain isn't that hard. But certainly if you're on the hards and they're already quite a few laps old, then 24 laps old, then if it does start to spit, then one can consider changing. But as I said, the decision would then be, what do you change to? What element of risk would you like to invoke?
Gerrit getting very close to the wall there.
Yeah, some of the cars don't seem to be too worried about the wall at all, but we were talking about the Mercedes being quite heavy. We haven't actually been in car with a Mercedes at the wall.
Jason and Sean getting very close.
Yeah, that's for position, so you can't get a blue flag there. That's Jason Underwood, car number 11 in 6th, and Sean Olivier, number 137 in 7th. So there's another chicane to come now, turns 3 and 4. Then they've got a short straight, and then it's that chicane with a big grandstand, turn 6, and shortly followed by turn 7 to the right. And then at least there's some position where you could, or some portion of the track that you can try and position for slipstreaming. Wait and see where he's going to wait.
See where he's going to make his move. He's looking.
Now that'll be the inside of the circuit, if he could keep the car there, but it looks as though he's battling. Sean Olivier is certainly holding his racing line as he's allowed to in the BMW, the Thorax racing car. Now they're heading off to the hairpin. We did say previously that it looked as though the Aston just gets into and out of the hairpin so well, but Sean Olivier is showing in the road at the moment. You've also got to remember Sean Olivier is on the hards, which might have lasted better than Jason Underwood running medium compound. And remember, Jason has been doing a lot of work because he came from, I think, 15th position he started this race. So the fact that he finds himself in 6th position is a minor miracle, but the fact that he's so competitive still, and on a softer compound of tyre so late in the race. They're catching Harvey again.
Now, I'm surprised the tyres are lasting as long as they have.
Yeah. Not sure how abrasive this circuit is. There's a chicane again, and although it's a back marker, it's very difficult to get out of the way through a chicane. Now at least there's a bit of space again, but you've got to be close enough to pass him. So this is turn 6 with that big grandstand, and I think this time Harvey, if it was Harvey, stayed right out of the way, and they'll be out of turn 7, and the curve of the race track to the right. There's the road that they go underneath. There's actually a big road that connects. This circuit is built on an island that is totally free from the mainland except for the highway that it's connected to. That also connects to another spit of land before it goes actually to the mainland. But yeah, Sean Olivier up on the inside of the Aston again. The Aston goes high and low, out in and out of the corner, and they're next to each other coming out of that. But the Aston slightly ahead, and it looks as though he might have just made that pass stick on Sean Willifield. Sean's not going to give it up though, because they're heading off to the chicane turns 12 and 13. Interesting to see Jason's not defending. He's confident that he's got the speed and the line.
Oh, very sideways there.
Yeah, that scrubs off speed completely, and Sean would have seen that, and it would have given him a little bit of confidence that he might still be able to catch the Aston Martin ahead of him. Turns 1 and 2. We haven't seen anybody come out of the pits for this race because there hasn't been anybody that's gone in for a tyre change for this race. So Jason makes up a position to 5th, and he is 21 seconds behind Gerrit Beekes in 4th. So I don't think, unless things change dramatically, I don't think he's going to be challenging for that position.
It looks like the rain might be staying away, so maybe it has missed.
Well, it certainly would be a good thing. So let's have a look. In the true conditions on the circuit, then it looks as though in Formula 1, also the rain stayed away.
So I guess that's pretty real to real life.
Yes. So nobody on wet compound there. This hairpin, what a lovely grandstand though. There must be, I think, if you can toss an orange a distance, you could probably throw an orange onto the bonnet of one of those cars. Not that I'd want you to do that, but just speaking in theory. And now that Jason has got past, he's opened up a 2.5 second lead in a very short space of time. Oh, the Shell Helix car going everywhere but where it was meant to go. He gets it back onto the circuit again. The runoff must be very, very favorable there, because certainly that's not the way you want to get through that corner. Is Pieter Geldenhuys. SRC Motorsport car.
I'm surprised he didn't get more of a run down the straight with that extra
Slingshot.
Yeah, the slingshot that he managed to get. Maybe it's a bit slippery off there.
Yeah, he's got Tony De Lima. That just being said, I wonder whether we're not noticing that there might be a bit of moisture around, which might catch the drivers a bit unaware at the hairpin, because if you look at the distance that the hairpin is away from turn 1, then you could have one set of conditions in turn 1, 2, 3, 4, and different set of conditions in turn 10.
Yeah.
So whether that is the case, I don't know. We don't see any of the cars that have the wiper on. And certainly Pieter Geldenhuys took the scenic route through turn 10, the hairpin. That's not the way that the corner was designed, but that's the way that he went through it. The 737 car of Jean-Ray Dutoy is still 9.5 seconds behind Adrian Nel and 8.3 seconds ahead of Chris Collison. So it's Adrian, Jean-Ray and Chris, first, second and third. Marius van Wyk, where does he find himself? He's in 15th position, and he's trying to catch Donovan Vermaak. So that's Donovan Vermaak in front of him as they get into and out of the hairpin, and they'll be down the straight. So let's see if Marius van Wyk is going to make a difference. In fact, that wasn't down straight. That was, they were already into and out of the chicanes after turn 3 and 4. Here's the left-hander. I think that's turn 6. If there's a big grandstand, they didn't pan far enough.
The battle of the Porsches.
Yeah, the Porsche certainly well represented, as are the BMWs. And as I say, we miss Timo, because we would certainly have liked to have seen the Corvette here with the horsepower, one of the muscle cars. The lights are on, so it certainly has become quite gloomy. Well, some of the cars have their lights on, so it has become gloomy. Marius van Wyk still trying to make up that position on Donovan Vermaak. So with, just have a quick look, 12.5 minutes to go, depending where the race leader is. That might add a lap if he sort of crosses the line just as the last seconds tick by, then it does add another lap to the race. And one lap is worth about 1 minute 37, 1 minute 38 seconds at the moment. So no change to the weather at this stage, other than it becoming a bit gloomy.
It's giving Antonio a hard time at the moment. A good battle going on here.
Antonio fends him off quite well. The hairpin right at him there.
Looks like the sun is starting to set. You see the sun glaring off Antonio's roof there.
Yeah.
So 11.5 minutes left to go. I'm not sure if the rain will still come. If it does come that late in the race, I'm sure going to be very tempting for guys to stay out on their dry tyres and just hang out to the end. We've got Stan Bezuidenhout at the back on a set of wet tyres. Not sure why.
Something that we don't. Maybe he did detect that there is a bit of moisture. There you see the sun setting, and you can see that there's actually quite bright on the road, so I'm not sure that there is any moisture about. Certainly not enough to get the guys to get their wipers going.
Well, there's the old saying in racing, don't ever change your tyres, you always drive with the conditions in front of you. So maybe Stan decided to try and anticipate the weather, put the wet weather tyres on, thinking it was about to come, but that just didn't work out.
And historically we know that wet weather tyres on a dry track don't last. They need to be cooled down, they get hot, and certainly lose all their grip. So any advantage that you might have had initially will disappear very quickly.
Yeah, it certainly got very dark and we were expecting rain, but the rain hasn't come. But Jason cutting the corner slightly there. Hopefully he doesn't get a penalty, or he might get a warning.
He's in 5th, and we did say the gap, I can't remember what the gap was, at 17.5 seconds, that Jason is in 5th behind Gerrit Beekes in 4th. Gerrit in turn is 2.8 seconds behind Chris Collison, and Chris is almost 8 seconds behind Jean-Ray de Toy, who's 11 seconds behind Adrian Nel.
So the battles are all getting quite large at the moment. The field is spreading quite nicely, apart from the battle between Antonio and Peter, which is under a second, sitting at about 0.7 of a second at the moment. That is our closest battle, apart from Donovan and Peter Murray. They're also having quite a nice battle.
Donovan number 95 on Peter Murray number 420. So Peter Murray runs a BMW, and Donovan Vermaak is part of the G-Force racing team.
Who's that? Chris coming past Donovan there?
I just see the Aston go by, and you say, what can I do to get my car that fast? It means the chicane, there's going to be a back mark in the chicane, and Chris will be clever enough just to tap off. He'll probably not pass him. If he's lucky, he'll get past him before turn 1. Alternatively, I think he'll wait until they exit turn 2 before he tries to get past him. There's turn 1, there's turn 2, and he's actually a little bit further back than what I imagined. Turn 3 goes to the right, turn 4 to the left again. Then there's a sweeping right-hander for turn 5.
This particular corner here is very, you'll be so careful on the inside curb, which Chris is about to go on. That can rotate the car very quickly.
Now, he seemed to got just no curb there. Hold the racing line. They both, well done to the car being passed as well, just giving enough room for Chris to go through. And certainly, I think you have your heart in your throat at that stage, because although it's a back marker, you'd expect him to give you the space, but stranger things have happened in motor racing.
Lots of drivers close together here, but it seems to be most of them not for position.
Yeah, so it's good for the spectators, but as far as the points go, it doesn't make a difference.
Although the Donovan and Peter battle is still going, that's 0.6 of a second, so that is, amongst all of these other drivers, they are actually battling for position, which would be for 14th position, sorry, 13th position.
Nash seems to have slowed quite down. He was much higher up earlier on. He's currently running, mind you, that being said, his last lap is a 1:38, which is a personal best, but I just think it looked as, oh, somebody, I think, missed the entry into turn one there. Yeah, there it comes back again. Just got that, I don't know, something must have broken on that car.
I think that was Wayne Kruger, wasn't it?
I'm not sure who that was. I just sort of caught it in the peripheral vision. And it couldn't have been a mistake into turn one, because turn one wasn't there yet. It's Danny Stander. I wonder what's gone wrong with that car.
Looks like he's retired.
Yeah, he has a DNF. And he's just parked it up against the wall, so that sector might be under yellows. Marius van Wyk, car number 77, is in 14th position, and that is the Porsche of the Deltec esports team.
Alright, let's see what's happening at the front. We haven't spoken much of Adrian. He is still in the race. He is still leading the race.
He still has the quickest lap as well. The 1 point Donovan Vermaak on Peter Murray. That's car number 95 on car number 420. 95 Donovan's G-Force Racing car, and 420 Peter Murray's BMW of PZN Wildmec Racing. That's the one battle that's raging, and it's have a quick look. It's for 13th and 12th position. Donovan in 13th and Peter Murray in 12th. So they're in the points, and they're still having probably the greatest fun of anybody out there on circuit at the moment. The other one that is worth mentioning that's come down, Gerrit Beekes is now within 0.8 of a second of Chris Collison. Gerrit in 4th, Chris Collison in 3rd. It's Gerrit Beekes, the BMW, and he runs for Team Full Throttle, and Chris Collison of Team Harder Racing. So 3rd and 4th might still change as well. 0.8 of a second the gap there.
Yeah, I would presume that Chris has made a mistake, because Jandre is still 8 seconds back from Adrian, so that gap's pretty much similar to what it was.
And Chris is now 12 seconds behind Jandre. So if we look at the last laps, a 38.5 by Chris and a 38 dead by Gerrit. So Gerrit has him there. You can see the BMW on the Aston as they go past us. Gerrit Beekes is very tempted to have a go at him. I'm sure he will before the race finishes. And there's only 4.5 minutes to go.
Yep. It'll be a very close finish, and I'm sure Chris is watching the time and very keeping a keen eye on it, just to make sure that he can hopefully judge it to perfection and hold him off. But otherwise he's going to... the way that he's being caught, I don't know that he's going to be able to keep Gerrit at bay.
The interesting thing is they're both on medium compound. So does the BMW manage the medium compound better than what the Aston does? Who knows?
Maybe Gerrit manages the medium better than Chris does.
Yeah, that's I say it's either the car and the car setup, or it's the driver itself. Here we have the view that matters. From looking back from the Aston Martin and we're looking back from the Aston Martin, and we look on the other view at both cars. So there you can see that BM coming closer every turn. That's out of turn 2, and it'll be turn 3, left into turn 4. It's turn 4, and it's a straight bit, and then they'll go left again and right Certainly this track sweeps very nicely, as well as has a few fast chicanes. That's turn 6, which is left-handed. Turn 7, the right-hander. That turn 6 grandstand must be a stunning place to sit and watch this race.
Well, the curbs around this track are quite interesting. You have to use the curbs to rotate the car because they are quite high curbs. So it lifts the outer part of the wheel up and the car rotates better because of that. But you've got to be careful when doing that you don't over-rotate and spin.
Yep. Right here they approach the hairpin, as I say, at the northernmost point of the track. It looks as though we're back into sunshine again. If you look at the shadows, then certainly the clouds have come and gone. And with, let's have a quick look, 2.5 minutes to run, then I think the rain will stay away.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look like it's coming anymore. So whatever was forecast was incorrect.
It's got a lot brighter than what it was. These cars come across the line with 2 minutes 13, so they'll definitely do 2 more laps. And if one thinks that the race leader is not that far up the road from them, and the length that it takes to do a lap, then I say they're going to do this one and one more.
Yeah, they'll probably finish this, get another one. I wonder if they can maybe squeeze one more in. Because they are halfway around the lap already. Oh, a penalty for Sean Olivier. What has Sean done?
Yeah, he is in 6th, so he had such a good qualifying and then got penalty applied from a previous race, which dropped him down to 8th, and then had a fairly good sprint race, and now he's up into 6th again, and now he has a penalty. Now, whether it's just a drive-through or a stop and go, or whether it gets applied, you've actually only got 3 laps in which to serve the penalty, and there aren't 3 laps left in this race. What do the rules say then? Here's a change coming. Gerrit Beekers on Chris Collison. Gerrit's on the outside. Yeah.
Who's going to have better drive?
The Aston, he tries to do the block and take the inside of the corner, but now he's got to go the wrong racing line, as it were. I think the option for the BMW would be to go to the outside just to try and get him to make a mistake. This is middle of the road racing. The beamer's up. Remember, it's the chicane coming up next.
Oh, is he going to make it?
Beamer break.
No.
He's gained an advantage, so he'll have to give the position back. So cut the corner, gain the advantage, slow down, let him pass. Well done, sir.
And he gets the penalty.
That should be done. Yeah. So if he hadn't have done that, he would have got the penalty. So now he's got to fight all over again. And with 25 seconds left, these cars are definitely not. Let's catch up the road. It's 10 seconds. So I think everybody that comes across the finish line, including these guys that have crossed already, in my opinion, this is the last lap.
Yeah, this should be the last lap.
We haven't seen Adrian for decades. There he is.
He's having a nice Sunday cruise.
Yes. So he's also going down the back straight, the bit that arcs to the left now. He'll be coming into the hairpin now. Here comes Adrian, the race leader, who existed in theory for a long part of this race because we didn't get to see him. He was just so far, him and Jean-Ray were just so far ahead of everybody else. There's Jean-Ray in 2nd position and gets past one of the back markers quite comfortably. But we should be getting back with Adrian to see him take the checkered flag. Time has run out. Adrian
the final corner
at the chicane and heads off to the finish line. Lights are flashing. Race well run, Adrian now.
Double victory and fastest lap, I believe, in both races.
Stand taking, is it stand taking or is it Dinesh taking the scenic route into the straight?
Could have been, yeah, could have been Dinesh.
Is somebody that goes just straight into, maybe, is that to serve the penalty?
It could be.
But the finish line, if you pass the finish line in the pits, do you get counted as finishing the race? I think Michael Schumacher did that many years ago, because that's where the finish line was positioned, that you could actually go into the pits, and he passed the finish line before he got to his pit garage. So that was big controversy as well. Chris Collison in 3rd position, car number, in fact, that was Jason Underwood, car number 11. He finished behind his teammate by 7.5 seconds. So Chris Collison in third, behind Jandre du Toit in second. Jason Underwood, car number 11 in fourth. Barrett Bierkes got past, that's car number 3 in fifth position. And Sean Willifie, we're not quite sure what's going to be happening with his position, but for the time being, he's on the lap scoring monitor in sixth. Andre Besson in seventh position. Peter Geldenhuys, number 88 in 8th. Didn't get a mention for a while, although he was involved in a battle. Here comes Jandre Dippenaar for 9th position.
Deep in the pits already.
Yeah, so Deep Hamildin in 10th position. Tony de Lima 11th.
I think Peter Murray is just cruising around. This is probably his in-lap. So we're going to jump to an ad break and we'll be back shortly with the interviews. So we'll see you then.
Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info. Are you or someone you know a victim of a car crash, or a legal professional seeking help in a crash investigation case? Look no further than IBF International. At IBFUSA, we specialize in at-scene crash evidence preservation, evidence analysis, crash reconstruction, and court testimony. We have over 20 years of experience in at-scene and post-event crash investigations in most of Southern Africa and the rest of the world. We not only provide assistance to crash victims and legal professionals, but we also offer training to those who wish to pursue a career in crash forensics. Our goal is to empower our clients with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate the often complicated world of crash investigations. Our slogan is IBF International. The facts speak for themselves, and we stand by it. We provide expert guidance and assistance to help you with insurance repudiation, expert testimony, and trial assistance. We believe that the facts should always be the driving force in any crash investigation, and we are committed to providing you with the most accurate and thorough analysis possible. If you're looking for an expert to guide you through a crash investigation, look no further than IBFUSA. For more information or to engage our services, visit our website at www.ibfusa.info.
All right, so welcome back, everybody. We are joined live with the interviews of the Sim Experience South Africa IBF USA GT3 World Series Round 8, coming to a conclusion from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada. So we, of course, are joined with our top 3 drivers for the evening, which are Adrian Nel in first place, Jean-Louis du Toit in second place, and Chris Collison in third place. Adrian, we're going to start with you. A fantastic round. You seemed to just dominate this round. You had all the pace. You were very consistent. I think I saw you make one mistake throughout the race, but absolutely brilliant race from your point of view. You just sort of cleared off and just could do your own thing. How was the car? I know in some of the races, the Porsche, when it gets a bit light, is not the easiest car to drive, but it looks like this circuit certainly suited the Porsche to the T.
Yeah, with a lot of rotation needed on all of the corners, and the car handling the curbs quite decently. Yeah, the pace was there. The car was 25 minutes from the end of the race. It was a pig, and then when it fuel load lightened up the front end, and I could put in some blistering laps. It was tricky, but the laps were fast. But yeah.
Oh, great stuff. Jean-Louis, you also had a really good race. Unfortunately, the first race you didn't quite get through the field. In the second race, you seemed to get through the field nicely, and but got up to second place, but maybe the gap was just a bit too big. But also good pace here tonight. So a good round overall. How was it from your point of view? Was it exciting coming through the field like you had to?
Yeah, no, it was quite excited. I was surprised in qualifying when I ended up, I think it was 5th, 4th or something like that. So I knew I just had to fight back, and I just had to catch Chris and Arjan. But yeah, overall, luckily I got to second, and with the race, I knew I wouldn't catch Arjan because that Porsche was something else on this circuit. But as long as I could keep the race behind me, then I knew I'd be fine.
There were 3 drivers I kind of had my eye on for this race. You were one of them, Adrian was the other, and Gerrit was the other, because on the practice times, the 3 of you seemed to be setting the pace. Chris, I think you were in 4th, slightly shy of them, but the 3 of you seemed to definitely be the guys, and yet Gerrit wasn't able to challenge you guys in the race. So, yeah, great race from you, Jean-Louis, and obviously yourself, Adrian. Then, Chris, heading over to you. You've had a very successful round as well. It looked like you were losing pace towards the end of the feature race there. So were your tires starting to go off, or were you just tired from your extra long racing weekend thus far?
No, I'm not going to blame tiredness. I didn't practice as much as I'd like, but look, I got a really cheeky pole position there. I knew that Adrian and Jean-Louis for sure were faster than me. They had the better pace, but I managed to cross the line with the time on 0 with the track at its driest. So I thought if I hold it together, I'll get pole here, and I did. But I didn't feel like I was the fastest, and in the races, Adrian just gobbled me up. As far as the tyres were concerned, I thought we'd see some rain, so I put the mediums on, didn't bother saving them because I anticipated that we might be coming into the pits. Ragged the hell out of them, and then for about the last 4 or 5 laps I was really hanging on. And I seem to be saying the same thing every week. I was looking at Herrick in my mirrors as per usual. He just wouldn't go away. He's just a thorn in my side. But by then Jean-Dre and Adrian were well up the road. They were on another planet to me today, and absolutely deserved their first and seconds.
Yeah, I think the pole position was brilliant, because what Sean and I were saying is that the last guy to cross the line that would have the advantage, and that is exactly what happened with you. With the track just sort of getting a little bit of rain and drying, you had the perfect track conditions. With the way the track was evolving, it started off with the guys were doing, what was it, 43s, and then eventually the guys got into, I think it was the 39s or 38s. But it still wasn't the ultimate pace, so we knew there was time in hand. So you just, yeah, everything just went perfect for you. We were kind of hoping that the rain would spice things up in the race, but that just didn't quite happen. So apologies for that. We were hoping that it would. But otherwise, yeah, you could have had the same sort of fortune in the race, but it didn't quite go that way. Sean, would you like to ask any questions to the drivers?
No, the one question that I did ask, that I did have up my sleeve, Chris actually just answered. And I don't know if you realized that it was a 138.8, give or take, versus Adrian's 139.6. So 0.8 of a second by coming across the line with seconds to spare. So timing it to perfection, a great qualifying session, and also a great race by Adrian. That Porsche just seemed to be in a league of its own. The Astons were good, but compared to the BMW, unluckily, we don't have Gerrit on in the discussion, but in the battles that you did have, and I'm going to ask this one to Chris, did you find that the entry and exit out of the hairpin, turn 10, I think it is, of the Aston is just a little bit better than what the BMW gets up to speed, or slows down into and then accelerates out of the hairpin?
I think you're right, but it was like that the whole lap round. It's kind of ebbed and flowed. I would pull half a second, Herrick would pull that straight back again, and it seemed to happen at the same spots every lap. So, yes, I'd say what you've just said there is pretty much correct.
Yeah, a great circuit then. Dennis and I were talking about it. Depending from car to car, whether you have a car that handles top line speed or whether it handles the corners well, there's something out there for everybody. How did you find it in the Porsche, Adrian? Does this car, well, I think Dennis has asked and you have answered, but where do you think the Porsche was gaining advantage on the other cars?
I think because of the rotation we can get from the rear end, especially through the first sector, that left-hander, and then I can rotate on throttle on the second corner. And then over the curbs, I can also, it rides the curbs well, but not as well as like the Beamer and such, but I can still handle it well. And I think overall it gains a lot of time.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to jump in because I noticed some of the other Porsches were doing good. I mean, look at the Team High Revolution guys. All of them were doing well tonight. We had a Deeb up there in 4th place. We had Julian up in 6th place. So definitely the rotation was helping the Porsches around here in those tight corners. And maybe the Porsche also being quite a quick car, with its rotation, it could get on the power a bit quicker down the straights.
That as well, and the brakes. The Porsche's brakes, I think, is the best in the field. And that helps with some of the stop and go corners that we have here.
Any one of you get close to the wall?
I tapped it twice.
I kissed it a couple times.
We did see one of the cars that actually gave it a good whack, but we did discuss as well that I think you can do that in a sturdy tin top like this, but you can't do it in a single seater like F1. But certainly it was towards the end. I think you guys got a little bit complacent and were like a foot or so off the wall going through the chicane. So I think by then you were probably in the tire save mode.
All right, well, let's leave it there. Let's do our final call-outs for the evening. So, Adrian, any final words from your side?
Well, I just want to say thanks. Me and Genre gave good points all now for our team for Midnight Code. So that's a good boost for the team's championship. Maybe we can work together and by the end of the season be up there with the other teams.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm thankful for his place as well. So.
Oh, well done. And Jandra, any final words from your side?
Yeah, thanks to you guys, the commentators and the organizers. And well done to Arjan for his first win in the GT3s. Well deserved.
And Chris, any words from your side?
Congratulations to the guys. You come first and second, you two fellas, really outstanding today. I do want to mention my teammate who wasn't able to start the race today and yet incredibly managed to come right through the field to an amazing fourth. And just thanks as well, slightly off subject, but thanks to Jandre Dippenar and Stanton Augustus, who also raced with us, as we all know, who raced with me this weekend at Le Mans. And I had a thoroughly amazing experience, so thanks to those guys. And of course to you fellas for everything that you do. Without you, we don't have our races, so thank you.
Chris, do you want to just give us a quick rundown of that event before we say goodbye?
Well, what do you want to know? I mean, basically, Stanton, who races with us, is involved in a little bit of endurance racing. Asked us if we'd be interested, so a couple of the guys, we went over there for the first time, and yeah, we had a six-man team. We lost one of those members before the race started. So we basically, the idea, we knew we weren't the fastest in the field, but we knew that we could make some good decisions. So we did that. We planned well. We had a safe car. And I'm proud to say on behalf of the whole team that in over 330 laps, we didn't have one single crash. And I think that was an incredible achievement. And because of that, we actually managed to get second in the second position in the Pro-Am category that we were competing in. So yeah, it was a pretty special time.
And what is the series name if anyone else wanted to go and watch that?
It's called the Global Endurance Series, so GES if you're going to look on YouTube or anything like that, or get seek the guys out and get involved. It's quite well run.
Great stuff, and congratulations to yourself and your teammates.
Thank you, it was good.
All right, then I'm going to say goodbye to all the drivers. We're going to kick you out for now. Let me just move you all over to the other channels. I'm just going to drop you
everybody.
where everyone else is.
Cheers.
So congratulations once again to our top three. Absolutely amazing race results tonight. So, of course, I'm sure everyone else is watching the real Formula One race, and I would imagine some of our drivers are hoping to get off and go watch it. I'm pretty much going to go watch it straight away. So next week we will have the Sebring circuit from America, which is going to be the bumpier circuit on the calendar. Also a fantastic circuit. Then we'll have Monza, the final rounds. Sean, you said you possibly might not be with us for those 2 rounds. If not,
yeah,
we will
definitely won't be here next week, and Monza is a maybe.
All right, so then we'll catch you, I guess, for the races after that, possibly. So until then, we will see you then. But thank you once again, Sean, for tonight. It's always a pleasure having you with us.
Thanks again for, I don't know how many series ago, for the invite originally, and something that I've done in real life and now commentating in sim racing is actually a very, very pleasant experience, and something that I could recommend to other commentators. Dennis, you certainly make it a lot of fun, and the competitors as well for the appreciation that they do show. Certainly we do it because we love the sport. And I think it also, if you do watch the stream afterwards, it's nice to have a little bit of somebody telling you about it rather than just watch the cars go by.
And of course, thank you to all the comments in the YouTube. We didn't really have a chance tonight to go through all the comments, but there are quite a few. All the people that support the drivers and of course us. So there's Teresa Ann Kruger saying, have a great race, guys. There's some ZA, I'm not sure who that is, saying, go number 3 full throttle. There's Kurt Jacobs saying, couldn't hear Sean, but we thankfully fixed that problem. There was Jason also in there saying, good luck, Chris. There was Caroline Yost saying, good luck, everyone. There was Chantal Dutoy saying, go 737. Sabine Krief for Team for Mark. And there was Sean yourself in there. And then, of course, Julian Brain saying he had lost audio. That's why he had a DNF. So thank you to all the people that have watched. Remember to hit the like and subscribe. And we will catch you all next week for Round 9 from Sebring, United States. Till then, have a great week, and we will catch you then.
Good night, everybody.